Hey, what's going on? Tuesday morning or afternoon. Not sure when you're watching this, but hope you're having a good day. This is a tough one, man. We started reading, what is it, The Setting Sun and the Rolling World. Try to keep remembering that title. But as I was preparing for this, like there's some emotion today. If you don't have a heart, then you probably don't care. But I know there's some sensitive people around here. There's gonna be some tough stuff. So we're gonna finish reading the story. That'll take a little while, but we got all the background of the author and all that stuff out of the way. So we can just pick up where we left off yesterday. And then I want to show you a video about a Zimbabwean woman. So I don't want you to think, hopefully, because we watched the videos on Friday, we'll watch this one woman today, that all people of Zimbabwe are the same. Remember, some live in $1 million homes, some are like this woman, and she has a really, really sad, unfortunate story that you'll see when you watch the video. And I would argue that nobody in the United States is as bad off financially as she is. Okay, you'll see the work that she does. Even, in Lewiston and Auburn, when you drive down the street, you'll see people who are homeless, but at least there usually is a shelter they can go, food. I don't think Zimbabwe, at least where she lives, has a lot of help, government help at least. So, tragic story there. Who knows? She may be happier than we are. She doesn't look happy, that's for sure. She's certainly getting a lot of exercise, but she has a lot of children to take care of. I don't know. I would not want to trade my life for her. But what I've learned is, like, just because somebody living in a different part of the world doesn't have the latest iPhone, isn't streaming all the great TV shows, just because it looks like to us that they don't have a great life, like they might be way happier than us. They might be just like not worrying about technology, not worrying about social media. So be careful about judging people who have a different life than ours. Although this woman looks like she's having a rough go. Like, she tells us she would rather be doing something else. But so be careful in that respect. And then there's a song that will be on Google Classroom. We'll take a look at the lyrics if there's enough time. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But it's just called Father and Son by Cat Stevens. I don't really want to play it in front of everybody. It usually does make me a little emotional when I hear it, especially in front of other people. So I don't want to do that. But if you want to listen to it on your own, and you can hear this father and son talking about the son's future, very much like our story, The Setting Sun and the Rolling World. It's a long title. Long title. I think I got it right. All right. So I highlighted in green what we'll be reading here. And you can see that is it says stories of Zimbabwean women. I only see this one story. It's about, well, this says 4 minutes and 45 seconds. The one I watched was 3 minutes and something. Maybe there's more to it. But when I put on the closed captions, it was of the Apache girl that had to go through that ritual. I don't know. I don't know. But we will, I don't want to open that. I want to close it. How do I close this? Hide this. Let's see. There is the comprehension check that will be available on a Google form tomorrow. Yeah, get rid of that. Boom. Now we just have this. This is highlighted in green because this is where we stopped reading yesterday. That's the only reason. So let's get rid of that. Can I get rid of that? Might not be able to. Delete. Yeah, I do want to delete. All right. We talked about that rather complicated um, metaphor. That's what makes this story so complicated, is a lot of metaphor is used. There's no false honeybird there. It means something totally different. It means like cash or riches or something. All right. So remember, the dad was kind of making the son feel guilty. He's like, "Hey, haven't I given you everything? Why do you need to leave? All. You've given me all, father." And here too, the son felt hampered, patronized, and his pent up fury rolled through him. It showed on his face, but stayed under control. You have given me damn all and nothing. You have sent me to school and told me the importance of education, and now you ask me to throw it on the rubbish heap and scrape for a living on this tired, cold shell of the moon. So no, again, some more metaphor there, but I don't know if you've seen anything about the moon, but there's not a whole lot up there, right? Which is one of the reasons why humans don't visit it anymore. They feel like, well, we've seen it all. There's nothing there. So he's actually talking about the earth, but it's just the part of the land that the father is farming is just crap. It's not producing as much as it used to. You asked me to forget it and muck around in this slow dance of death with you. I have this one chance of making my own life once in all eternity. And now you are jealous. So that's the way the son could definitely be thinking. Like, you're jealous of me. I have a chance to do something on my own, and you don't want me to. Now, me as a father, I mentioned it yesterday, like, oh, he could think that he's protecting his son. So this is where the generations are clashing, different points of view. You are afraid of your own death. It is, after all, your own death. I shall be around while yet I will make my way home if a home is what I need. I'm armed more than you think and wiser than you can dream of. But all he said, too, was so apparently he didn't say any of this aloud to his father. All he says is, really, Father, have no fear for me. I will be all right. Give me this chance. Release me from all obligations and pray for me. There was a spark in the old man's eyes at these words of his son. But just as dust quickly settles over a glittering pebble revealed by the hoe, so a murkiness hid the gleam in the old man's eyes or eye. Words are handles made to the smiths. It's just like a blacksmith making horseshoes and stuff like that. Fancy and are likable to break under stress. They're too much fat on the hard, unbreaking sinews of life. Do what, sorry, right here. Do you know what you're doing, son? Yes. Do you know what you will be a day after you leave home? Yes, father. A homeless, nameless vagabond living on dust and rat droppings. So he's telling the son, you're going to be a bum. A vagabond is a bum. No home, just roaming from place to place trying to get something to eat. Living on thank you, sleeping up a tree or down a ditch in the rain and the sun and the cold with nobody to see you, nobody to talk to, nobody at all to tell your dreams to. Do you know what it is to see your hopes come crashing down like an old house out of season and your dreams turning to ash and dung without a tang of salt in your skull? Do you know what it is to live without a single hope of ever seeing good in your own lifetime? Now, as I read this, and the father is asking all these questions, I think he's talking about himself. I think maybe at one time he was like the son, had all these dreams, probably in his late teens, early 20s. And now he looks at his life and realizes, you know, I've kind of wasted it, or I haven't been given the opportunities, or I haven't worked hard enough, whatever. But maybe having one of those midlife crises. And to himself, do you know, do you know, young, bright, ambitious son of my loins, the ruins of time, pains of old age? There. Sounds like he's talking about himself. Do you know how to live beyond a dream, a hope, a faith? Have you seen black despair, my son? I know it, father. I know enough to start on. The rest I shall learn as I go. Maybe I shall learn to come back. The old man looked at him and felt, come back where? Nobody comes back to ruins. You will go on, son. So maybe this is him starting to change his mind. You know, this is kind of where we live. It is kind of ruinous. Something you don't know will drive you on along deserted plains, past ruins and more ruins, on and on until there is only one ruin left, yourself. You will break down without tears, son. You're human too. Learn to the Haya. I have no idea what that is, but the context clues right here will tell us what the Haya is. the rain bird, and heed its warning of coming storm. Plow no more, it says. And what happens if the storm catches you far, far out on the treeless plain? What then, my son? Okay, so maybe he's not changing his mind there, but he was tired. They had taken over 2 months discussing all this, going over the same grounds like animals at a drinking place until, like animals, they had driven the water far deep into the stony earth until they all sapped until they sapped all the blood out of life and turned it into a grim skeleton. And now they were creating a stampede on dust, groveling for water. My gosh, that is a long simile comparing the father and son to a couple animals at a drinking place, maybe in the desert where there isn't a lot of water, and they finally have sapped out all the water. Mere thoughts, mere words. And what are words? Trying to grow a fruit tree in the wilderness. More, more metaphor right there. There's metaphor right there. Go, son, with my blessings. I give you nothing. And when you remember what I'm saying, you will come back. The land is still yours. As long as I'm alive, you will have a home waiting for you. So he's saying, son, let's go. Okay. I'll be here. You come back when you find out that I'm right. I'll be here waiting for you. So definitely that's a pretty much like a backhanded compliment. Okay. You learn what I'm saying. You got to learn the hard way. Go out there, fail, come back, and then do what I said. You'll have the land. Thank you, Father. Before you go, see Chiremba. We don't know who that is, but context clues. If you keep reading, let us know. You are going into the world. You need something to strengthen yourself. Tell him I shall pay him. Have a good journey, son. Thank you, Father. So we know that the father does not have a lot of money. And what we'll see here in a minute, it seems like this Chiremba might be kind of like a medicine man that we saw with the Apache girl. Maybe that he will have these special rituals or something to give the son good luck before he goes on his journey. And if you remember yesterday, the story said that the father should not be mad at the son right before he leaves because that will be like a curse. So at least the father is kind of giving him his blessing, but also saying, yeah, go find out that I'm right. And then you come back here. But at least he's going to pay some money. He's going to try to give his son as much as he can before, at least give him some good luck. All right, continuing on. Nemo smiled and felt a great love for his father, but there were things that belonged to the old world that were just lots of humbug on his mind. If you see humbug, it means nonsense, nothingness. If you've ever seen A Christmas Story, Christmas Carol, it's called, by Charles Dickens. A lot of times it's on TV. I think the Muppets have done one, and I think Mickey Mouse or whatever, Disney has done a couple. But one of the characters in there say like "bah humbug," meaning just like it's nothing. It's nothing. Bah humbug. All right. We're right here. Humbug on his mind. Empty load, useless scrap. He would go to Chiremba, but he would burn the charms as soon as he was away from home and its sickening environment. So the son does not believe in the old ways of the people, of his father, the ancestors. A man stands on his feet in guts. Charms were for you. So was God, though much later. But for us, now the world is godless. No charms will work. All that is just opium you take in the dark in the hope of a light. You don't need that now. You strike a match for light. Nemo laughed. So he's kind of laughing at the father's old ways, not really respecting how his father feels. I don't know. I don't want to give my opinion too much, but when it comes to other people's beliefs, as long as they believe in it and they're not hurting anybody, I try not to, look down too much on that. But I was hoping that the son would think, hey, at least, my father's trying to protect me. Maybe I don't believe it, but I'll go along with it to make the old man happy. But he's kind of I don't think he's laughing at the man at his father, but he is laughing at what he thinks. All right, he could be so easily lighthearted. Now his brain worked on a fury only known to visionaries. The psychological ties were now broken. Only the biological tied him to his father. So the dad does not have any more like mind control over him, if we want to say that, just biological ties. He was free. He too remembered the airplane. That's the British spelling of airplane, by the way, which his father had seen just before their talk. Space had no bounds, no ties. Floating laws ruled the darkness, and he would float with the fiery balls. Oh man, why'd they have to say that? He was the sun, burning itself out every second and shedding tons of energy, which held its power, giving it the thrust to drag its brood wherever it wanted to. This was a law that held him, the mystery that his father and ancestors had failed to grasp, and which had caused their being wiped off the face of the earth. So he believes that the ancestors were not as smart as he was. So oftentimes, I was guilty of this too when I was a teenager, young adult, or whatever. Overconfidence, feeling like, oh, I can't fail. I'm the best. You know, it is a tough world out there. So the dad in me is like, hey, Nemo, chill, buddy. Like it's probably still going to be hard for you, okay? But I mean, I believe in you. You can do it. If I was his dad, that's what might be what I would say. But like, ancestors might know a little bit. This thinking reached such a pitch that he began to sing, imitating as intimately as he could Satchmo's voice. And I had never heard of this Satchmo, but I have heard of Louis Armstrong. I didn't know that was his nickname, but he was basically a vocalist. I could put a video. Um, one of my favorite songs in the world. Louis Armstrong sings, so I'll put that called "What a Wonderful World." Oh, he was a very good singer and a good trumpet player. But Satchmo, I didn't know that was his nickname. Louis Armstrong. Oh, what a wonderful world! It was Satchmo's voice that he turned to when he felt buoyant. What a wonderful world. Hmm. If that's the title of the song, those should be capitalized, but maybe he's just saying it's a wonderful world. Old Masona did not look at his son as he left. Already, his mind was trying to focus at some point in the dark, unforeseeable future. Many things could happen. While he still breathed, he would see that nothing terribly painful happened to his family, especially to his stubborn last born, Nemo. Tomorrow, before sunrise, he would go see Trimba and ask him to throw bones over the future of his son. And if there were a couple of ancestors who needed appeasement, he would do it while he was still around. So he believes that ancestors who are upset could harm the son's journey, could make it more difficult. So he was going to go back and see that medicine man. So we never learn what happened. This is stubborn lastborn, Nemo. I wonder where the other. We never hear of any brothers or sisters, or I I don't know. They mentioned yesterday that the family tree had been uprooted. So I'm not sure if Nemo was like the last person in the family to maybe take over that land. The rest of the children had gone away. We don't know. It's possible. Or it's possible that the other family members have died because the land is just not good. I think both of those are very possible. He noticed that the sun was going down, and he scraped the earth off his hoe. It's the second time we've heard about that. That's the way the story started. Like the sun was going down. Definitely could be metaphor. Dark, night, bad times. It's possible. And we don't know how things turned out for Nemo, but this last paragraph, I don't know, could be foreshadowing. The sun was sinking slowly, bloody red, blunting and blurring all the objects that had looked sharp in the light of the day. Soon, a chilly wind would blow over the land. and the cold, cloudless sky would send down beads of frost like white ants over the unprotected land. So that's how the story ends. I'm saying not on a great note, by the way. That's a pretty dismal, dark way to end the story. So if it does end in a good way, or if I thought this story had a happy ending, I think it would have ended much better than this. So hopefully Nemo goes on, does great things in a bigger city, maybe gets a good job. Hopefully has a great family. Things do not look good for the father, though. I don't know. I hope you like this story. I really like this story. I think it's fun. It's pretty difficult because of all the metaphor. And if you're not used to reading metaphor, it can be pretty tough because it's almost like a poem in that way where they talked about that honey bird and the sun is a character in the story. It's kind of like an ominous thing, like a bad thing. So very much like a poem here. It hit home to me as a father. I'm not sure if it hit home to you as a son or daughter or whatever, but there will be a time in your life, I hope, not too soon, but you are leaving your family, going on to have your own life, and it is pretty scary. Both, I think, because I've been on both sides as a father and as a son, and it's scary. So, song, you can listen to the song if you'd like. It's on Google Classroom. The one by Cat Stevens and the one by Louis Anderson. Great songs. My opinion. Great songs. You may hate them. Hopefully you don't. Maybe I'm too old to know what good songs are, but that's one thing that you can do. And then we'll watch the Namibian women stories from them. Okay, that's it for today.